Thank you, Sean. Thank you for everyone at Icon Coaching.
Simon, congratulations, man. You know what that is?
That's winning.
It's winning, baby. I love it when you're winning. That's fantastic.
I got 2 under contract, so that's like 2.8 million in 2 weeks.
You've got to take control of your production to make sure that you're making more money, your bank account balance is rising, that your net worth is increasing, and that's what we want to see happen.
So that they can save the listing.
Which I'm really, really thankful for, Sean. Thank you.
See everyone coming on board. Welcome to Icon Coaching's webinar.
Hello and welcome everybody to today's webinar. We've got Homes.com. We're going to be talking about lead generation, lead conversion. We're going to be asking a ton of questions of Homes.com so that they can really articulate how they can help you build a rock solid business that's predictable. So you can position yourself in the minds of your past clients, your sphere of influence. They're going to help you do just that. So without any delay, I'm going to welcome Ryan Smith to our call. He's the representative from Homes.com. And this dude is a marketing genius. I'm telling you, this guy knows how to generate leads. He knows how to convert them. And we've got a ton of questions we're going to be asking him today. So Ryan, welcome to the call. Tell him about yourself. Tell him about Homes.com. Tell him about CoStar and what you're most excited about for 2026.
Sean, thanks for having me, as always. Homes.com, where you're listing your lead. We put the agent first. That's what really makes us different. That's what makes us stand out is we're putting not only the consumer first, but we're putting the agent first, not selling, your lead and your brand off to whoever wants to pay us, the highest bidder. We're driving all of that organic traffic directly back to you.
I love it, Ryan. That is so good. Yet there are so many portals out there. What is it that makes Homes.com unique? What makes them stand out? What's the profound point of differentiation? And why is it especially important in today's market?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just touched on it a little bit, but the typical portals, the ones that you're familiar with in the past, they've done that lead diversion. I go online, I want more information about your listing, but then I'm connected to you as the listing agent. Kind of that bait and switch. Now I'm connected to somebody else who's, paying for that lead. We connect the consumer directly to the listing agent for free. It's not even something that you have to pay for. We showcase you, your information, your brand, and we put that consumer directly in contact with you.
Okay, so do I have to be a member of Homes.com? Do I have to pay you some money to make sure that that lead comes to me?
I know it sounds crazy, but no, you absolutely do not have to pay us for that. So at the end of the day, you definitely want to make sure you have your profile set up with your bio, links to your website, social media, correct contact information, because completely for free, the consumer is connected to you as the listing agent.
I love it. So what steps do they have to take to make sure that they're getting their leads?
Simply that. Just go onto homes.com, log in. If you forgot password, make sure we probably already created a profile for you. But if not, generate one, upload your picture, contact information, bio. Very simple. We made it easy for you to kind of just fill it all out and update your contact information.
So gang, if you get nothing else other than that from this webinar, I want you to write that down. That is an action item that you must take action on. Do it right away, by the way. By the way, Ryan, there's a little bit of change going on in our industry these days. I mean, from commission-related shifts to ongoing debates around listing data and who can see it and how do you share it and all this stuff. How is it that Homes.com is helping agents maintain control of their business and their client relationships through this kind of crazy, tumultuous, uncertain time in real estate sales?
Absolutely. The great thing is, it's another thing that is completely free that you should take advantage of. Of course, creating your profile. Then back to your listing, your lead. We're showcasing you as the agent. They want more information. They're getting connected to you. But now on the other side of things is staying connected with your clients. We have our client collaboration tool. So if I am working with you or a buyer that I am working with, I can send you an invitation. Simply just like sending a friend request on Facebook. I invite you to connect with me. Once that connection is made, now I see you and only you. So if I can click on any listing in the entire country, if I want more information, it's going to say your agent, and now I'm sending that directly to you. So you don't have to worry about your buyer requesting information on a listing and it not coming to you and going to them.
You got to love that you can do that in a virtual environment. Guys, as a sidebar comment, in a physical environment, It always bothered me that my buyers would stumble into an open house and talk to an agent, and that agent thinks they're unrepresented. They're going to do their very best to steal their business from me. It drove me insane. The other thing that drove me a little bit crazy was these on-site sales offices for new construction, these developers. They're paying an on-site salesperson to sit their model home, but if your buyer stumbles in unrepresented and happens to register without you, guess what? Even if you have a signed buyer agency agreement, you're probably not going to get a commission unless you want to sue your buyer for it. So here's my input. Create a business card size that says open house guest pass on the front. It's a really simple card, open house guest pass. And then on the back, it says, I am exclusively represented by your name or your team name. Any questions about my home buying needs should be directed to your name goes there and your phone number goes there. Give them a stack of maybe 15 or 20 of these cards during the initial counseling session, then get a signed buyer agency contract, give them those cards and tell them that the benefit of using the card when they stumble into an on-site sales office or an open house is that the person sitting in the open house or the sales office, well, they represent the seller in their best interest. Use this card, and then they're gonna bother me about your home buying needs and not you. And by the way, you don't want every realtor or on-site salesperson trying to follow up with you, bothering you all the time, do you? Of course not. So use this, and they'll call me and not you. And that's what you want, right? So Ryan, this is the virtual open house guest pass, is what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And so once they register with you, then you are associated with every listing that they're going to look at. Guys, I think that's important. No doubt about that. Now, a lot of attention is going on with the Zillow, the MLS integration, the broader question around listing transparency and data access. So, what's your perspective on the issues at heart in this debate? And what principles do you believe should guide the industry moving forward about sharing data? Who gets to see it? Talk to me.
Yeah, well, what we simply want to do is provide the best experience all around for both consumers and real estate professionals. And we're going to continue to do that, provide the best content and information in real estate, while also providing the best consumer experience when searching for their next home. So at the end of the day, we want to get as much, all the inventory onto our site to then give them the best experience and the most content and information, and always showcasing you as that real estate professional, not hiding that, selling it off to your competitors. And that's where our, agent first, best consumer experience comes in, because at the same time, if I'm not already working with a real estate professional, I want to speak to the most knowledgeable agent about this specific listing. That's you, the listing agent. And then if I am working with an agent, yeah, I want that collaboration connection with my agent so that we can share homes. I can like things that'll go directly to them. They can set up saved searches for me. I can learn more about the neighborhood. So it's always putting both the consumer and agent first during their home buying journey.
Love that, Ryan. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about AI. I mean, AI, LLM models are transforming nearly every industry that we know of. There's no doubt about that. So tell me, how is Homes.com approaching AI maybe a little differently? And where do you see AI creating the most value for both the consumer and the real estate professional?
Yeah, so our AI experience is like no other out there. I'm not just saying that. It is completely conversational. It is not just a bot of just shooting back and forth. I can actually interrupt them anytime that I want. And it's be able to ask those questions that they would ask you as the real estate professional, but they're able to do it right then and there. So able to ask things like, tell me about unique features of this kitchen, or would a California king be able to fit inside this bedroom? Um, then you can actually talk to it through the entire Matterport, that 3D virtual tour. Is I can say, take me to the kitchen. So, would this be a great space for me to host a party? Um, those type of questions that your buyer might have that we're able to answer for you, especially if it's 12 o'clock at night and you're sleeping or with your family. We're able to answer those questions for you about those specific properties, or help them really find that dream home that they're looking for, that's difficult to find with those filters, those typical filters of 3 bed, 2 bath,
Yeah.
to have a pool. They're able to have a real life conversation and find what they're looking for.
How cool is that? Man, it makes the user experience so much easier. No question. So many of these prop tech platforms, they talk about servicing consumers. Others talk about servicing agents. Homes.com. How do you guys balance both? And you and I talked about this. Why is it that you believe that servicing the agent is ultimately better for the consumer experience ultimately? And tell me, why do you believe that?
I mean, it's all the way around. It's almost the industry as a whole, to be honest with you. But it's for the consumer side of things. You kind of touched on it earlier, is you don't want a bunch of agents calling you, right? We're connecting the consumer either directly with the agent that they're working with already, or if they're not working with the agent, to the listing agent who knows about that specific property, and not getting bombarded with a bunch of different phone calls and trying to earn their business. With that being said, too, is then on the agent side of things is doing what's right. It's your listing. Don't you deserve to get the branding and the exposure and the inquiries that come from that? I think your sellers would probably want the same exact thing, the one that's going to represent their property the way it should be, and answer those questions about their property. They hired you specifically for that reason. I think they would want, the business to then come to you, the one who's going to represent their home the way it should be.
Well, you would think so, no doubt about that. Let's talk a little bit about the future, though, Ryan. I mean, where's everything headed? What trends, like next 12 to 24 months, okay? What trends do you think will have the biggest impact on how consumers search for homes and how can agents generate more business? What do you think?
Well, I think and we hear it all the time now, AI. I think that's inevitable. Is AI is going to play a big part in this, and that's what I love about combining our platform with AI, and us putting the agent first and the consumer first, and then tying in the AI with that, so that they're having the best search experience. They're able to ask those questions that you just simply couldn't do with, typing it in or clicking a filter or a search. Kind of an example is like if I put X amount of dollars down, what and at this mortgage rate, what would my monthly rate be? Be able to ask like those type of questions, and tying that all in together is going to be the best experience.
I would agree with you. Boy, the world is changing so dramatically. I remember showing homes to buyers. They'd say, well, what would my house payment be on this property, right? And we would actually pull out the calculator. We'd go through the calculations together. We'd add in taxes, insurance, and all of that stuff to ultimately get as close as we could to what the actual monthly house payment would be. Now, you guys, I mean, you just open up your app on your phone and you just ask the question verbally from chat, what's the house payment going to be on this property with this much down payment? And what are the closing costs going to be? And it gives you to the penny what the payment should be. I mean, it's so much easier, so much better the way people are searching for homes nowadays. Now, let's talk about growth. I mean, these people showed up for a reason. They want to find strategy, tactic to increase the number of leads they're getting, the number of conversions they're getting, the number of appointments, and of course, contracts and the amount of income. So for agents in today's market who are trying to grow their business, I want you to think of one strategy or a mindset shift that they could install, implement, deploy like right now that would have a massive impact on their production. What advice would you give them, Ryan?
I would have to say focusing on your brand and truly building your pipeline and your database, your sphere, your past contacts, staying in front of them as much as possible, staying top of mind. There was a stat that I saw recently, and it was at least 80% of buyers, sellers were very satisfied with the agent that they used to buy or sell their last home. But then only 20% of them end up using that agent again the next time they buy or sell. I would think that they would definitely they had a great experience. Why would they not have another one again? But it's just simply they forgot. It's been, say, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, whatever it might be. And they just simply forgot because, that relationship, you didn't continue that relationship past the sale. So
Ryan, I
staying
believe
top of mind.
you've just now touched on, I think, one of the greatest tragedies in real estate sales today. Your past clients, your past customers should be the greatest bird dogs in your business strategy. They should be out there hunting for you, scaring up the business. Guys, the challenge is that we tend to focus on where's our next deal coming from? Where's my next listing? I'm going to get my next buyer, my next investor. And sadly, these people that have experienced your services, your sphere of influence as well, the people that know you, like you, trust you, so in some cases even love you, they get orphaned accidentally. You don't do it on purpose. You don't ignore them on purpose. I totally get that. Yet they get orphaned and silently adopted by another realtor. Guys, I don't want to see that happen to you. You don't want to see that happen to you. So this is why Dan Stewart of Happy Grasshopper and myself at Icon Coaching, we came together like a peanut butter meets chocolate kind of moment to help you install a system called Built. I want you to go to installbuilt.com. Just check it out. Get on the wait list for our next free first session. Guys, I want you to be there. Go to installbuilt.com and go to homes.com. Check out what they've got going on. Now, Ryan, there's a question that I have for you that's been heavy on my mind. And that is there's a ton of leads being generated by all these lead aggregators being sold to realtors over and over and over again. There's an estimated, based on the LLM models that exist in my own independent research, an estimated around 300 million digital leads generated out there, bought and paid for by agents, and sadly only 4.2 million transactions. So what do you think's going on there? Why is that? And what is Homes.com doing to increase the quality of the leads that you guys are generating, vetting those leads to make sure that agents are getting a rock solid return on their investment with you? Talk to me.
Mhm. Yeah, it's when it comes to leads, they're getting kind of passed around everywhere. It's especially those other platforms that shared leads. They're getting sent out to multiple agents. Not the best consumer experience. And the great thing with us is, it's your listing, your lead, or if you're working directly with that buyer, they're staying connected to you. And then, yes, we have lead vetting to scrub those leads for you. Make sure that their time frame, their budget, exactly what they're looking for, that it's not a spam, because we know spam happens. I get 20 of those calls to my personal phone every single day. That kind of stuff happens, but that's what we're there for, is to save you time, and scrub those leads for you and connect them directly to you. And what they're looking for. Like I said, their time frame and their budget. And we want organic traffic directly to you, not just, I was looking up to see how much my boss's home was worth and got force captured, or uh, you know, kitchen ideas, but then I had to submit a lead to get more pictures or anything like that. We want organic traffic coming directly to you, and that's the great thing about our site. We have over 80 million visitors to our platform every single month. And really, we're just driving that traffic so that they can see you, your brand, your listings, and drive all that traffic directly to you.
That is massive volume of traffic, man, and just getting those eyeballs on the agents, that's so critically important. Let me just ask, if you could give every agent listening to this replay or watching this webinar live, where would you advise them to invest any marketing dollars for the remainder of 2026? And just what's going to give them the biggest bang for their buck, right?
It ties back to what I was saying earlier, of building your brand and driving that traffic directly to you, and not just necessarily new prospects, but your sphere and your past clients. One of the things I say is, like, what do you offer that differentiates yourself from your competition and other agents? And of course, the great thing is Homes.com does that. We are not just a lead gen platform like those others, where we just, somebody inquires about a home and we send you the lead and that's it. We provide tools and things to help you actually grow your business, help you stay top of mind, build that brand, stand out from the competition, and then give you tools to help you win more listings.
No doubt, Ryan. So we as business owners, we all have our ideal customer. You as a real estate agent, you have your ideal customer. Maybe it's that move up buyer. Maybe you're a luxury specialist. You have your ideal client. No doubt about that. I have my ideal client. Ryan, I know Homes.com has their ideal client. So tell me, Homes.com was built for a particular demographic of agent. Who's the ideal client?
That's what I love about us also, is it's not just one specific client or a top producer or anything like that whatsoever. I know a lot of those other platforms, they say it's about 3%, the top 3% of agents could actually really buy it and participate and be successful. The great thing about us is If you've sold or done business in that area, we're going to showcase you in that area. If you have listings, we're going to promote your listings, do retargeting, boost them to the top of the search, have them seen more, sold quicker. So really any agent that is pretty much, getting close to being a full-time agent or a full-time agent is, promoting their brand and, has listings and drive traffic to their listings to have them seen more, sold quicker. So really, any agent for the most part.
So Ryan, let's kind of free flow a little bit here. Okay, so let's say I'm an agent. I just closed a deal. I got a little extra cash that I want to invest into my business. Um, what are some questions that you would recommend that I would ask any lead aggregator before I would engage their service? What are some questions that I as an agent should ask them?
Is of course what's in it for me. That's the most important thing. You're talking about growing your business is how's it going to grow my business? I kind of touch back to what I had just mentioned is leads is great, but that's also a lot of time that I'm being spent to go through that. A lot of online leads are not transaction ready. So is what else does it provide for me besides just say contacts? Is there any tools involved? How can I use this, say, in a listing presentation to win my next listing? Or, kind of back to that question I asked is like, how can I use this to differentiate myself from the competition of why they would choose me over, the other agent that is farming my neighborhood?
But Ryan, I'm so glad you brought that up. Okay, when I'm doing my training and I'm talking about unique value proposition, I want every agent who's listening to this webinar to be really excited to have somebody ask them, meaning, I'm looking to buy a house in your market area. Why should I call you to represent me? I want you to just be just excited to get that question. Or, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. Why should I choose you instead of that Sotheby's or Compass or Remax agent instead? I want you to be prepared with a powerful answer, with the competence that leads to confidence. So when somebody asks you, just sit back. You're relaxed. You got a huge smile on your face. You just can't wait to answer this question because you know you have the best answer. And I think Homes.com does bolster your ability to earn their business. It positions you as a professional in the market area, and they're going to give you all kinds of marketing assets to win that next listing or win that next BRBC. Guys, get that signed buyer agency contract, and you can do that with the assistance of Homes.com. So Ryan, if somebody wants to go deeper and learn more from Homes.com, how would you recommend they do that? Do they schedule a demo with you? Do they just go to a website to read and learn more? Talk to me.
No, so we have in-house representatives in each region. So you'd be able to schedule a one-on-one consultation, and they go through your entire business, basically your listings and what we can do for you, and how we're going to grow your business. The great thing is that these in-house representatives not only set you up and get you squared away right off the bat, but then they are every other month doing a follow-up call with you to help you utilize this to its full potential. Hey, do this or do this. Let you know about new features that have been added to the membership and how to utilize those and take advantage of every aspect of the membership. Because at the end of the day, we want you to win more business.
No doubt. Well, you guys, thanks to the digital marketing revolution, leads have developed the ability to now self-identify way too early in the pipeline, it feels like. I mean, we're talking 2-3 years before they're going to actually pull any triggers. Now, thanks to the digital marketing revolution, though, we have now two distinct categories of leads. Okay, first is what I call the dreaming phase. Okay, they went online, they registered or force registered, and the agent got the lead. Well, they're not a lead, they're not a prospect, they're not even hardly a suspect yet. You got the lead, you got the info, they're in the dreaming phase. Probably going to be 18 months to 3 years before they do anything. Then there's this other phase that's the buying, listing, or investing phase. This is when they're transaction ready, as Ryan said, right? Now, here's the point I want to make. If you ignore them when they're in the dreaming phase, gang, they're going to ignore you when they get to the buying or listing phase. So a nurturing sequence, critically important. This is another reason that Dan Stewart and I locked arms, man, to help you make sure you have the nurturing sequences in place. So when they think real estate, they think you, that you're positioned to earn the business, gang. Go to installbuilt.com. And then also, how do they get in touch with you and your team, Ryan? What do they do?
So that's a great thing is getting connected with your inside representative on homes.com because they will be able to show you how to do that collaboration tool to where you can invite them to connect with you directly on homes.com. So now they're searching around, they're still in that say dream phase looking at homes. And now when they're clicking on all these homes, they're seeing you as their agent because you're now connected with them. You can set up save searches, send them over homes that they might be interested in. Now they're using the AI, having an amazing experience, and during this entire journey, they're seeing you. Then with our membership is we have ads that we can run for you all across the web. Now that they've searched, we've done retargeting. So they're searching that specific zip code. Now they go on to over 30,000 sites, ESPN, CNN, Nordstrom, biggest sites out there. And your listings and your ads are popping up in front of them all over the web. So keeping you top of mind during every phase of that journey so that when they finally are ready to inquire and start looking at homes, you've been there the whole entire time.
That is fantastic. Guys, this is an open format as well. If you choose to, you can unmute yourself. You can ask Ryan questions directly, or if you'd rather, type it into the chat, and I'll go and ask the question of Ryan. So in today's world, LLM models are changing the way that we're doing business. We're doing things so much faster, so much more aggressively. Now, another point that I want to make, because of LLM models, every channel is being flooded with more and more content. Guys, I can create content like nobody's business now. What used to take me a week, I can get done in 20 minutes. I mean, quite honestly, in 20 minutes, I can create more and more content. So every channel is the amount and frequency of content is being increased exponentially. The only thing that's cutting through the noise right now is relationships. So as you're generating leads, the one thing I want you to focus on more than anything else is how do I generate a relation, or how do I build a relationship with this person? The easiest way to do that is come from contribution, to add value in every interaction. Okay, it's not so much about you. It's all about them. Make it about them. Give to them without ever remembering, and receive from them without ever forgetting. And you can't go wrong in this world, that's for sure. So Ryan, what other final thoughts, words of wisdom, any just parting advice that you'd give these guys?
I would say is staying top of mind. Everything that we've talked about, majority of your business definitely comes from, your sphere, your network. So staying connected to them. And, with that being said too, is, staying in touch with them, winning them over, having that relationship is then that leads to referrals. And there's nothing better than referral, right? So that's a great way to stay in touch with them. So go make sure you have your profile set up on homes.com. Connect with one of our representatives, whether it's you're ready to buy the membership now or not, knowing what's out there and what we offer and what we can do for your business, just so you kind of have that in your back pocket. Whether your business is growing and you want to grow it more, or your business is slowing down and you feel like you need something to kind of take you to that next step and drive more business directly to you. It's definitely worth connecting and doing that consultation with one of our representatives.
100%, guys. So motivated prospects are located. They're not created. Homes.com will help you locate a whole bunch of motivated prospects, guys. So take Ryan's advice. Dave, do you have a QR code you can throw up on the screen for us? I believe you do, Dave. Go ahead. All right, any questions from the audience? I don't see anything in the chat. And here we go. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you. So go ahead and scan that QR code. Get your demo booked, you guys. They'll show you how to get registered at homes.com so that you always get your leads. Make that happen today. That's critically important. Ryan, any other thoughts?
That is it. Thank you so much for having me.
No, Ryan, thank you.
We
Thank
look
you
forward to connecting with you all.
All right, guys, I look forward to doing this again next Tuesday. We do this every single week, so tune in. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. Talk to you all soon.
Thanks for having me.